What is going on, ladies and DeGents? Welcome back to the Distinguished DeGents Podcast. You're one of many homes for degenerate gambling. I am one half of the Distinguished DeGents. Shades on, back, locked and loaded. We have redeemed ourselves. It is Steve, Big Bucks of Beta, and joining me as always is my co-host, my partner in gambling. It is Jason, Monty, Mansman. Mansman, week 3, redemption week. I would say mission accomplished, sir.
We back.
Yes, sir. We did a lot better on our picks last week. Although there were some that me and you disagreed on. There were some that we went heads up. We'll get into that here shortly. But overall, how did your gambling week go? How did your bets do?
Well, unfortunately, Monday night took a little bit of a cramp, but I think I was up like 4 or 5 units, which was good considering the amount I bet. It was a plus week, and I'm doing pretty well this NFL. I know week 2 kind of sucked. Week 1, I got that big hit on Monday Night Football. So all in all, I'm having a pretty good football season thus far, and looking forward to this week. Want to keep the momentum going. It was a good week. Not so great with the contest picks. Those could have been a little better. But all in all, in terms of my betting, good week. Some good hits.
Very nice, sir. Yeah, as for me, same goes as well. Week 1, I had that real big hit with the Eagles-Packers game with the touchdown and field goal parlay hitting. So, I was up big on that. And then week 2, we kind of took a hit. Week 3, shockingly enough, was actually the least amount that I've bet in a week so far this year. Only 25 units in betting for the week. Ended up getting 42 units back, so profited just around 17 units overall. The big hit for me was a 4-leg parlay. Got a half unit, 7 units back. Baltimore, Detroit, Indy, Minnesota, all 4 legs in the parlay. 13-1 boosted. That was nice. That was a good hit.
That'll do it.
And then another hit I got, which was really nice. I like getting free money. I don't know about you, but FanDuel had the Derrick Henry boost for 25 rushing yards in each half. That hit, so I maxed out $25 bet, got $62.50 back. That's also a good day. And then out of all my best bets, I went 4 for 5 once again. Just like week 1, except the only one that didn't hit was my fade of the week, which we'll go over here shortly. But yeah, overall best bets did good. I believe I went 2-0 in our contest plays. So
yeah,
that was also
back
really
in the
nice
lead 4-2. You won our spread and money line, so you got it.
Yes, sir. And as always, we're going to run the contest plays back, but for those of you who do end up watching this video, make sure you hop into our contest plays. The Big Bucks Challenge is still alive and well, my friends. So make sure if you enter our contest plays for the week 4 moneyline and spreads picks, 2 separate contests. Beat me and Money Mansman in both, and be the number 1 winner. You will win a $50 free bet on my dime. So make sure you tune into the contest plays once we announce those on our x.com/DGents podcast. With that said, Money Management, we have a lot of games we have to recap and go over. We have a lot of hot takes we have to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
All right. It is going to be the recap, so for now, the shades will come off, but the locked-in shades, I am glad they were able to make a reappearance. All right, so we got to kick it off with, I guess what we thought was going to be the shit game of the week, but actually ended up being somewhat interesting. The New York Giants 21, Cleveland 16. Giants covered at 6.5-point underdogs. They got the win outright. Danny Dimes 24 for 34, 236 passing yards and 2 touchdowns to Malik Neighbors, who had 8 catches and 78 yards. Dev Singletary also had himself a great day, 65 rushing yards and a touchdown. Deshaun Watson put up a Deshaun Watson type performance. He went 21 for 37 with 196 yards. He had 2 touchdowns to Amari Cooper, who also had 86 receiving.
2 lost fumbles as well.
That is correct. Yeah, boy, oh boy. This was my under of the week, and this is what we need to talk about. Thank you Thank you, Devin Singletary, for saving my under of the week. Thank you, sir. Could have
Giants
ran
and
it
the
in,
Giants.
could have killed it, did the smart thing, lay it on the 1 yard line, let the Giants take the knee, get the victory. Kept the ball out of Deshaun Watson's hands. What a pro! Not just because of the bet, obviously. I know it was weird because like if he had scored anyways, it still would have been a 2-score possession with like 2 minutes to go. So kind of fishy there, but on the other hand, like very pro play. Get to the 2-minute, take the knee, get the win. Loved what I saw there. Kind of loved what I saw from the Giants overall, despite like I've been down on them all year. I'm still kind of down, but I mean Deshaun Watson resurfaced and you just remembered who he is.
Yeah, and I'm down on Cleveland's defense. Daniel Jones looked pretty good in the game. 73.1 ESPN QBR, 109.4 quarterback rating, traditional. It's a good game from him. And Cleveland's defense, I think, is the biggest answer. I think it's clear they're not the same defense as last year, where their stats, they were basically twice as good as the second best defense. Their defense has come back down to earth, and with Deshaun Watson playing like Deshaun Watson has for the past couple of years, this team's not going to be good enough to do anything.
No, not at all. Cleveland Browns defense allowed 340 total yards on defense to Danny Dimebaugh and Devin Singletary. 21 first downs to 16. I mean, again, like I couldn't tell if this was really bad Cleveland performance or whether this was really good New York Giants football. To me, like not just looking at the numbers, but watching the replay, kind of an inverse situation. I think it was just really decent football output by the New York Giants offense in comparison to what we've been seeing before, and just really, really shit performance on offense for Deshaun Watson once again. That under 32.50.5 passing yards looking better and better each week.
Yeah, it really is. And you got to wonder how much longer Watson has to be the starter. I don't know how many more bad performances they're going to accept. He hasn't gotten it going as of yet.
Yeah, I could see this by the bye week, which I think for Cleveland, I want to say is week 7. I'm going to double check here before I was looking up something else. Their bye week is 11. Yeah, I could see by bye week they're not 500. Deshaun Watson gets benched. I mean, and again, you want to talk about like another loser franchise move. I mean, Denver, for what it's worth, once the new guy came in and realized like this guy isn't working out, they cut bait.
Yeah,
I gave him
they need to do a Russell Wilson and just eat the cost. I mean, they could have Baker Mayfield now, and not saying Baker's great, and we'll get to that game later, but I take Baker Mayfield over Deshaun Watson any day of the week.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, the only real negative of cutting bait with a Deshaun Watson like Denver did was you were paying him. Might as well cut him as a backup, which is what he's doing right now in Pittsburgh. Excuse my dogs here. So, I mean, that's like the one negative aspect of it, but the positive aspect is like you can actually move on. And no offense, you have a double Coach of the Year winner in a Kevin Stefanski, which is crazy to think that they're doing this bad, but this guy still can't have the cojones to bench Watson yet. And I don't know if it is too early, but, you know.
I don't think so. He doesn't have it. He's got nothing. He's got nothing to offer.
I mean, and there's other coaches this week, just this week in week 3, where they got their starters, they benched them. They just said, it's not your week, you're not good enough, bench. We'll put the other guy in. Kevin Stefanski, 2-time Coach of the Year winner. Can't figure that out yet. I don't know what that's about, but.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Chicago versus Indianapolis. Yeah, buddy. I gotta ask you, what in the hell were you thinking? Chicago 16, Indy 21. I
mean, to be fair, the game was close. The game was close. It's just, I don't know. The Bears' offensive line has taken a lot of heat. I just think Caleb Williams has no pocket awareness, even a little bit. I mean, this guy holds the ball for so incredibly long, running around like a chicken without a head, and then just heaves the ball downfield. Two really bad, well, at least one really bad interception. But look, on the other side, I don't think it's a bad pick because Anthony Richardson threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. In the end zone, threw it to three guys in white jerseys for the Bears.
Like it looked like he was trying to do a layup, but like a
Like right to the defense. I mean, to give you an idea, Anthony Richardson, 17.8 ESPN QBR, 39 rating in total. So this guy's no good either.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson did not look good whatsoever. 10 for 20, 167 yards, 2 picks on the day, by the way. Really, the game was saved by one Jonathan Taylor, 110 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns.
And the Bears couldn't run against one of the worst run defenses in football, so that's kind of concerning.
Yeah, which speaking of, by the way, if you had listened to our buddy Vitrell's DynaPros Fantasy Podcast, you would have gotten mine and Money Man's insights on all 16 of, or all of the Sunday games minus the Monday nights.
Yeah.
So we gave out a Jonathan Taylor play just to start. We said to bench Caleb. We said to bench Richardson. So make sure you tune into the DynaPros Fantasy Podcast, hosted by Vitrell Kirkland on all platforms wherever you get your podcast.
I'm coming off a big fantasy win, well-deserved fantasy win. Not really.
We'll get to that.
I
I agree. I mean, on one hand, I think this was really bad Caleb Williams. I mean, the numbers aren't going to tell you that, though. Caleb Williams had himself a day, 33 for 52, 363 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, but the 2 picks were the concerns. But, yeah, I mean, this is beyond, like, bad rookie quarterback play. Caleb is out there looking like he's trying to be Patrick Mahomes and do Patrick Mahomes things. The problem is he doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes O-line. He doesn't have Andy Reid as a head coach. That game, to me, was very telling on 2 fronts. Number one, Matt Eberflus, he's looking like he's out of a job very soon. He's going to look like the next Frank Reich out of the Carolina situation. Eberflus is next. This game plan, whatever offense they're trying to get Caleb to run, Caleb's not doing it anyways. And I don't know if this is like snarky quarterback where he just wants to do what he wants anyways and he's just disobeying the coach, or if this is just him having to run for his life and hold on to the ball because nothing opens in time. Either way, it's bad coaching, it's bad scheming. It looks like, I don't think and again, this was a 9.5 over under win total team. Not looking like that anytime soon.
To give you here's my stat of the game, and I think I could end it here. Caleb Williams threw the ball 52 times in an NFL game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which, I mean, listen to my take from Bo Nix. I mean, at some point, it's like if you have him throwing that much, you have to wonder why. But yeah, you can't get the run going. Here's my second take, though. I'm going to give you this credit. This is why I'm glad you didn't take the incinerator. This wouldn't have felt like a good win. The Colts. Anthony Richardson, you're starting to look more and more right every time I see this guy. He does not.
I'm telling you, he's a bum. That's why I picked Indianapolis under.
He does not look like a good NFL quarterback this year, which is crazy because he had a good start last year. I know he had the one rough game, but otherwise he was actually looking somewhat competent and successful. He was able to move the ball and throw it. Now he just looks like he's kind of praying and chucking and heaving it to Alec Pierce, hoping to get a stat that way. And this week he only got 1 catch for 44 yards. And if that's your best hope to be successful in the league, I don't think he's going to last long either.
Yeah, he needs to take a page out of Jaden Daniels and run a little bit more.
Gotcha. All right. Was that any of my? I'm pretty sure that was not one of my best bets. It was not. But that was one of the ones we differed on. All right. Houston, Minnesota. Houston 7, Minnesota 34. Minnesota, my dog of the week, cashes clean money. Plus 2.5, under 45.5 in that game total. This was one of my 5-unit hits. This was a good hit for me, this game. Yeah, CJ Stroud, 20 for 31, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Cam Akers got a touchdown in that game. How about Sam Darnold, Big Dick Darnold, 17 for 28, 181 yards, 4 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had a great day as well. 102 rushing yards, 5 catches, 46 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson, 6 catches, 81 yards, 1 touchdown for him.
Yeah, the AFC killer strikes again.
Once again, you called that as well on the DynaPros Fantasy.
Stephon Diggs, I didn't call, but I played him against his former team over receiving yards. That was easy.
Yeah, I unfortunately did not make money on this game other than the Minnesota money line bet. 1.5 unit play there for me, but I had a half unit sprinkle on a Tank Dell under 55.5 receiving yards. Was looking good for a while, and then unfortunately that did not. Yeah, garbage time is always the killer. Yeah, this Minnesota Vikings team is the real fucking deal, and I kind of called it out here too. This was a game where I think everybody's talking about Sam Darnold and how good he did and how good they looked on offense. You have to kind of give credit to Brian Flores for shutting down CJ Stroud.
Yeah, their defense looks fantastic.
I mean, they looked like they weren't struggling at all. They did not look like Stephon Diggs was going to be a major threat. CJ Stroud just, kept getting pressured all game. I was very, very pleasantly shocked that they only held the Texans to 7.
Yeah. Their defense looks great, and I think we're seeing the sophomore slump with CJ Stroud because, in all honesty, he hasn't looked great the first couple of weeks. Looked okay against Indianapolis, although a lot of that was running, but the past 2 weeks, not a great performance for CJ Stroud. And I'm trying to pull up just real quick. I'm trying to pull up the Vikings defensive numbers where they're ranked. Oh, so interesting. So against the pass, the Vikings are actually ranked 26, but they're second against the run and second in scoring defense. Getting a lot of turnovers. So that's something to keep in mind. There might be some regression to the mean, but right now the Vikings defense is looking very good.
Yeah, no, they're looking like the NFC North is going to run through Minnesota so far this year. Big matchup next week against Green Bay for the Vikings. Texans, I think they get a divisional matchup with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, gotta say, after last week's performance, you got a lot more questions than answers.
Yeah, I think your boy Cinderella might.
Hey, my boy.
It's funny. My sister literally was like, "Oh my God, I hate this guy. He looks with his stupid blonde hair. He looks like a blonde-haired surfer guy." And I'm like, Steve calls him Cinderella, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're right."
All right. I actually just saw in the comments, and now he's calling us out. So this guy wants to know, Chris35. He wants to know if we're gonna drink a glass of our own piss for $40,000. Nah.
No.
Not for me, bro.
No.
Maybe once for survival.
Yeah, we're doing fine on money. No, I don't need to do that for $40,000.
We're straight, bro. Maybe for survival purposes if it was that desperate, but nah, man. At that point, it's not even for money.
I mean, you do you, man. We don't judge here, but yeah, no.
Slightly. That's okay. Chris, thanks for checking us out, though. We do notice you are our only viewer right now. But yeah, we got a lot more football we got to talk about, so feel free to chime in on that or ask us random ass questions. We'll try to entertain you. All right, next up, the Los Angeles Chargers 10, Pittsburgh 20. Justin Fields is a 3-0 quarterback. I'll say that again. Justin Fields is a 3-0 quarterback.
Well, the defense is 3-0. I don't know about Justin Fields. He's doing okay. He's not turning the ball over. That's what you'd expect.
He did this week, though. He did this week, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But
yeah, but all in all, he's playing a solid game. Couple nice throws over the middle. He's doing enough to win the game. So that's all.
Yeah, I mean, this is your typical Mike Tomlin game manager nonsense to me. It's yeah, I mean, this is what we expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers ever since Big Ben left. But it was nice to see Justin Fields throw the ball over the middle for once. And then, yeah, this Chargers team, God, the injuries are just already starting to pile up. Herbert now looks like he might be out next week. That's another blonde-haired bitch I can't fucking stand personally, but that's just my hate for the Chargers.
Yeah, I had Herbert on the under, and that was a good play. That made a lot of sense.
Pittsburgh was my best bet. That was another unit and a half win right there. All right, here we go. Chris has one more question. Very random. If Mahomes three-peats, does he pass Brady all time? Yeah.
No, see, I disagree. I mean, you got to understand, Tom Brady, the longevity, years and years and years of success, it's going to take more than, I mean, Mahomes has to continue to stay good for the rest of his career to match Brady. I mean, remember that last year in Tampa Bay, made the playoffs at like over 40 years old. So,
well, in a 7-9 team at that, I think.
Yeah, but I'm going to need to see more from Patty Mahomes.
If Mahomes get three-peat, yeah, I think he does passes the GOAT because again he's gonna have that longevity, and there's only gonna be one Tom Brady where, let's be honest, he was very lucky to have gone into a Tampa Bay situation and keep the remaining good pieces, but bring in a Rob Gronkowski. I think if Patrick Mahomes moves to another team, I don't think everyone's running to the hills to go play for him if it's not Andy Reid coaching him. So for me, I actually think it's more of an Andy Reid becomes the GOAT. Yeah, and three-peat, unheard of, never been done. But I mean that's
a fair point. But
that's one crown though compared to like how many Brady has.
And
that's my point. I don't think it's going to be a question of if Mahomes passes Brady on the records. It's going to be when.
Don't get me wrong. I think Mahomes is a better quarterback. I mean, Mahomes does stuff no one else on the football field could do. I mean, some of the stuff he pulls off is immaculate. But I don't know. I'm going to need to see. I don't think we realize. I get it because being a Bills fan, we had to deal with the Patriots. I mean, you're talking about just 2 decades of every single year having to deal with the New England Patriots. As good as Mahomes has been, and trust me, he's on the way. The trajectory is there. But what Brady and Belichick did for 2 decades is, I mean, that's unheard of. In a cap sport like this, I mean, that's something you see in baseball with the Yankees. So,
yeah. Or maybe soon with the Dodgers if they ever get their shit together. Big if, though.
Yeah. All right, what game do we have next? Done with the Chargers crap.
This is the actual shit game of the year, or not game of the year, shit game of the week. The Eagles 15, the Saints 12. Derek Carr remembered who he was. Derek Carr had a typical Derek Carr game. Saquon Barkley, the savior of Philadelphia, once again stood up and took the game away from the Saints and got them to win 2 touchdowns, 147 yards rushing. Jalen Hurts, 311 passing yards, 1 pick.
Big disappointment for the Saints, although I guess we should have expected it. This was the week to fade them. The Eagles really dominated the game. If you look at like yards per play, yards, they pretty much doubled up the Saints in yards. I think the Saints defense is going to be good, but you just see with New Orleans, their offense, Derek Carr is always good for a stinker, and he had another Derek Carr type game.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what happens when you bet on Derek Carr as a favorite. And this was my life. This is the lesson to myself, because I literally went through everything in the handicap. I said the numbers, and I was literally talking myself into Philly, but the more I talked, I was like, God, there's something wrong with this team. They just lost me money last week against Atlanta. Am I really going to get suckered a 3rd time? And I talked myself out of it. This was one of those games. I should have just stuck to my guns, despite the fact that, And
Nick Sirianni's a bozo. We got the question regarding flags in the NFL, and we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, to me, it's more every week, forget the flags. Some of the bonehead decisions that are made. Atlanta wasting a timeout in the Kansas City game. Nick Sirianni going for it on 4th down with 10 seconds left in the half. Some of them are just stupid decisions. These coaches are making some of the dumbest dumbest choices I've ever seen in the NFL. And, the flags are, I mean, they're a part of the game. I feel like you kind of got to get used to it now. I hate it. Don't get me wrong. I love a clean game.
Oh,
These ridiculous where every play is an illegal formation drives me nuts. But
you mean the Baltimore Ravens and the fucking
Kansas
Cowboys
City-
game where
Kansas City Chiefs, they should have. It's funny because the biggest flag was the one they didn't throw on Kansas City in the end zone. That should have been the flag they
that's
threw. Clear pass
they'll throw a
interference.
flag every other time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, yeah. And then, but yeah, in that Eagles game alone, Eagles had 7 flags, but they only counted for 45 yards. So, I mean, what does that go to show you? That, like, sometimes all the flags can get thrown all they want, but sometimes they really don't make that big of a difference. Other games like that Kansas City, it's all but one flag that changes the whole scope of the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
are a big
it's
disappointment,
annoying. It's annoying, but I just feel like a lot of times it's a cop-out. Like, the one thing I hate to admit about Kansas City being right on was that week 1 game in Baltimore, when they were talking about flags, and they were also talking about, like, the Isaiah Likely's foot, and it was just like, well, wear smaller shoes. I don't know what to tell you. Like sometimes the player just has to be better, and sometimes it comes down to those small moments that just makes or breaks the game. And no offense, if you're relying on flags to be thrown to win a game, you're not a winning team to begin with.
Yeah. I just wish they call it a bit more consistently throughout the game. I feel like there's a couple games where penalties in the first half aren't penalties at the end of the game, and it drives you nuts.
Or penalties that are in one game with one referee crew isn't a penalty with a different crew.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do we got next? What's the next one?
This was another game I got dead wrong, but I was happy to be wrong about it. My Denver Broncos, 26, Buccaneers, 7. Jesus Christ, Bo Nix came out to play. 216 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 47 rushing yards on the ground. Cortland Sutton, welcome back to relevance in fantasy, 7 catches for 68 yards. Baker Mayfield, 163 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Chris Godwin got the touchdown with 53 yards receiving. This is a game that, like, to me, this was all about Broncos defense.
Yeah, congratulations on the win, buddy. You guys got a big win.
We did. No, Bo Nix did a very good job. He did what we would expect most NFL quarterbacks to do. Wasn't really that exciting, though, on offense, to be quite honest with you. Oh, even though the opening drive was real nice. That 4th down pitch to McLaughlin, where he was literally stumbling over his 2 feet, trying to out-juke the defensive lineman. Sort of got lucky on that break, but I'll take the touchdown where we get him. So it was a good win. The Broncos defense completely shutting down Baker Mayfield. That was the story of this game.
Yeah,
Baker just never got comfortable.
The Sharps were right about this one. They predicted the Tampa letdown spot, and that's what this ended up being. Tampa really looked like they never got off the bus. And credit to Denver's defense. They shut down Baker Mayfield. He couldn't really get anything going. So big win for Denver. Sean Payton, week 3, that handicap turned out to be correct. So congratulations, buddy. Good on Denver. And Tyler Batty, the fantasy darling, maybe going to get a little bit more run. 70 yards rushing, 9 carries.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be a fantasy darling or if he's going to be a one. It's a Broncos running back. I feel like they're going to be one-hit wonders here and there. It's very much a running back by committee with a hot hand. The minute Batty starts not getting yards or if he starts getting tackles for loss, he's off the field. Yeah. So just be very careful with him moving forward. Christ 35, Tua Tagovailoa should retire. We're going to hold this one for the Dolphins game. We're bringing that one up very shortly, but I do have a thought about Tua after what I had saw last week.
I think Skylar Thompson should retire, but we'll get into that.
You know who I think should retire? Will Levis. Will Levis should definitely
retire.
You
mean discount Josh Allen?
Yes, discount Josh Allen, a.k.a. Will Levis, and the Tennessee Titans. They got their asses kicked at home by none other than Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers. 30-14 was the final. Malik Willis, 202 yards, 1 touchdown. Ran one in for himself, got 73 yards rushing. Malik Willis, well, he threw 2 interceptions, 260 yards and 2 touchdowns, though. They did not get the win. Tony Pollard had a shit game, 6 carries, 14 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, welcome back to fantasy relevance again, sir. 6 catches for 73 yards, 1 touchdown, excuse me. God damn, the Packers coaching is just so good. Like that was not a one-game fluke that they had. God, is Green Bay just the place where they could have anyone at quarterback and they're going to be good now? Or is this?
I think their coaching's pretty good, and you had discount Josh Allen, who threw a couple bad interceptions again, and not much to say. The Titans defense finally crumbled under the pressure of holding up a bad offense, and let's be honest, Will Levis he's not an NFL quarterback. That it's as simple as that. We've known this. It's no surprise. ESPN quarterback rating of 15.3 goes to show you what a bad game he had. Will Levis is not a good quarterback. He's just not good. And the Titans are, speaking of quarterbacks that need to be benched, Will Levis is a quarterback that needs to be benched.
Yeah, I think he's done enough to show he doesn't got with a bad team or whatnot. I mean, Ryan Tannehill does slightly better with this team compared to what we've seen out of Will Levis, which is funny because the Packers, like you said, crumbled under the pressure. You're 100%. 10 penalties by Green Bay in that game. Still couldn't keep it close. Still couldn't make use of those penalties. Fucking failed epically. Lost a fumble, threw 2 picks. Allowed 8 sacks in that game. I mean, that O-line has problems. Will Levis isn't a quarterback. Tony Pollard's their running back. Like, they have a lot of things they need to fix and rebuild around, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, Christ, thanks for subscribing, buddy. We hope to have you back soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely check out any part of the video that you missed. It'll be on the YouTube page. Check out our Twitter at DeGents Podcast as well. If you're into that. Sometimes we try and post our picks, post our contest play, so be sure to check that out.
Yes, sir. Green Bay, Tennessee was my over of the week at over 36.5. Fucking easy money there. Love hitting. I love when I hit on all my best bets. All right, last one. We're into the 4:00 games. Let's jump into the Miami game. So Miami,
there we go.
Whopping 3. Seattle, 24. This was not a game I was paying attention to at this time. There was
no need.
Yeah.
We didn't miss anything.
There was no need. Geno didn't really look that great either, and I'm kind of wondering if Geno is going to be a quarterback that gets benched soon if things start going south for Seattle.
They're 3-0. I think he's fine.
Yeah, they're 3-0, but like Geno does not look good. They've struggled against some bad teams. I mean, they struggled against the Patriots. They didn't look good against Denver, really, in that first half until, Denver couldn't keep up. Zach Charbonnet is really the story. 91 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, once again, 104 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. He'll be fine, but Geno is not looking like the answer. And we'll answer the last question. Should Tua retire? Not after this game. Come back and finish the season.
It depends on, that's a cop-out answer, but it depends on him with his doctors, and I think it's getting close. I mean, he's taken a lot of big hits, a lot of concussions. I think it's something he's got to keep in mind, but it's hard for me to tell anyone to retire. Like, I get it. This is probably his dream since he's been, and I mean this in all sincerity. If he could sort of feel like he could do it healthy, he should go and, pursue it for as long as he could. Now, if his doctors are telling him he's a hit away from having serious brain damage, he really needs to think about it. Better yet, don't retire. Just get down and slide. Stop going head first into a defender, down 20 points in the third quarter. He just needs to play a little smarter. He's got to realize that he's not Josh Allen. Josh Allen is 6'4", 260. Tua Tagovailoa is 5'10", 185. Like, he needs to stop. He needs to just be a little smarter. Like Russell Wilson, where he'd always avoid the hits. That's what he needs to think about doing.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever it's worth, Russell Wilson always knew when to go down. He also was a baseball player. He knew how to do what? Slide.
Slide, yeah. Yeah.
which is like the one big thing missing nowadays with these rushing quarterbacks is they don't know how to fucking slide. I don't think Tua should retire. I think I'm thinking of it from a different aspect here, and like I thought about this. And again, barring that he can play, the doctors are saying he's clear. That obviously is number one. But if they say he's all clear, it's all good, and this is just like well, my mom and my family doesn't want me to anymore. They're telling me I should. Like, that's his decision to make. Number one. Only he can truly make it if the doctors do clear him. There's a lot of investment that went around to a Tagovailoa in Miami. They gave him a lot of guaranteed money, even if it isn't the most. They gave him a lot of guaranteed money, expecting him to play. They built this team around Tua Tagovailoa. They set him up for as much success as they could, and for him to have an ability to play, but kind of just use injury is like not as a cop out, but like if you're just gonna say, you know what, I got my guaranteed money, I could play, but I just don't feel like getting concussions anymore. I'm out. I think most people would understand that, but if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'd be livid because it's like this is the sport of football. Yeah. Like concussions are a risk, and now, like at some point, like I remember when me and you were 22, 23, but we understood what risk was. We understood that like there comes with certain issues with certain jobs. One of the things with football is injuries. That is the big risk you take as a football player. And it's not like it's a surprise. It's just nobody seems to expect this many concussions.
I think if he could safely do it. And again, the last concussion didn't look all that bad. So, no, I mean, I don't think it's, I think if he had another time where he got stretched off the field with gang signs, yeah, maybe. But I think he has a chance to come back, and God, Miami's going to need him because they look terrible.
Yeah, they do not look good. Skylar Thompson. I mean, I'll say this again. Like I think Skylar might have another game to start. I haven't heard any news yet on what's going to happen with Miami for week 4, but I mean, Seattle at home, it's always a tough go. Seattle, like you're not a lot of teams like Miami in that spot are going to go to Seattle and win. Denver sure as hell didn't go in and win. And look at how we're talking about Bo Nix this week. We're saying like, I mean, I'll definitely say this about Bo. Like, he definitely was the starter I was waiting for. That's the quarterback I was excited for in the preseason. And I think for Miami, like, this was a tough loss. But you had a Skylar Thompson. It was a situational loss. I don't think you go back in 2 years and say, what the hell was wrong with Miami? I think you just look back and say, damn, they were without their quarterback. They did the best they could. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, what do we got next? We're making good time. We're moving right along. That's good.
Yeah, we are. This was a team on auto fade. They have officially been removed off the Big Bucks auto fade list. It is the Carolina Panthers who scored a whopping 30-6 on the Las Vegas Raiders in their home stadium. Raiders only managed 22. Aiden O'Connell is now the starting quarterback once again, or he only started for one half. Either way.
No, he's not. They're bringing Gardner Minshew back against Cleveland.
Oh God!
I think Cleveland might be my best bet next week.
Oh, we'll have to discuss this. We'll have to discuss this on Friday when we make our week 4 picks. For those of you tuning in, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you check us out on Wednesdays and Fridays when we do our recap and our weekly handicap episodes. Fucking Andy Dalton. I got to admit, sometimes the Sharps are right, and a lot of the Sharps were all over this game, and they were all over Andy Dalton, expecting him to have a big game here against the Raiders. I didn't see it happening. I said the Panthers should remain on auto fade, bet against them. I was dead wrong. I gotta eat my crow on this one. I was dead wrong. Dalton, 3 touchdowns, 319 yards. Chuba Hubbard, big day, 214 yards. Deontay Johnson.
The ghost of Deontay Johnson, he's back.
Yeah. I will say, though, looking at the second half, though, not much from this Panthers offense. Three field goals and 1 Miles Sanders touchdown.
Well, the game was kind of over at that point.
Yeah, the game was over. Well, it was within 20 by the 4th, and then
it was by the end of the third quarter. To give you an idea, it was 27-7. So
yeah,
the game was kind of over.
Yeah, but 437 yards of offense for the Panthers. God, 6 yards per average on play. It's like night and day with Bryce Young.
Look, they got a professional quarterback, and the effort of the entire team completely changed. That was a straight-up ass whooping. There's no other way to put it. That was a straight demolishing of the Raiders. They got embarrassed. The Raiders say they're going to make some business decisions. We'll see. If they were really going to make some business decisions, Aiden O'Connell should be starting quarterback. I'm telling you, I like Aiden O'Connell much more. I would want to see Aiden O'Connell as a starter.
Yeah, 9 for 12, 82 yards, and 1 touchdown in all of his appearances.
I mean, I know that was garbage time, but he just has it better. He throws the ball a lot more on time. I just like Aiden O'Connell. I think he gives this team a better chance to win. And I'll tell you what, Gardner Minshew's a bad half of football away from hitting the old pine. I think I'm tempted to play the Gardner Minshew under this week because I think he could get benched after a half of football.
Yeah, who do the Raiders play next week? I know
Cleveland.
the Panthers.
Cleveland.
Ooh, in Cleveland or in?
No, in Vegas.
Interesting. Don't really have a play on that one yet. I have an interesting play on this though. Panthers 4.5 point home underdogs to the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton revenge game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The Bengals reeling. I don't know. Is this the fade spot for Carolina? I don't know. I got to think about that. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, tune in Friday when we do our Week 4 handicaps to get our official decision.
God, Cincinnati is the favorite again. It's like, do you want to burn money?
Yeah, I mean, that is like... We'll get into that towards the end of the episode, but I mean, for fuck's sakes. Oh my God, Carolina, they're now off auto fade. They were on the auto fade list for so long. I just don't... They won a game. They covered. I don't know how to feel. Like... It's so weird because it's like we've seen Andy Dalton before in this spot, and like I recalled like the Seattle game, they lost and failed to cover, so I was like, okay, they still suck. Then they play the Raiders, and like this shit happens. It's just like, you know, are the Panthers going to be a real team, or did the Raiders have like a down spot? I'm just unsure. So there's a lot to figure out with both teams, in my opinion. That's kind of my take. Yeah. Even after the crazy win. All right, Niners 24, Rams 27. Injuries galore. Brock Purdy, he had 3 touchdowns, 292 yards. Matty Stafford, 221 for a touchdown. Kyron Williams, 24 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. Juwan Jennings, fantasy darling of the week, 11 catches, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was a big miss on my part. I looked at Juwan Jennings, loved the spot, should have picked him up. Almost did it and just talked myself out of it. Didn't even bring it up on the DynaPros podcast.
Yeah.
So a bit of an unfortunate miss on my end, but I was shocked. This was
for this game. See, this game's just like a faulty, weird NFC West game. The Niners at one point were 95% to win in the fourth quarter, and they lost.
Yeah, they were up 21-7 at one point, and then it was a 1-score game.
This is a throwaway game for me. I'm not impressed with the Rams at all.
I'm concerned about the Niners. Not because they lost, but the fact of the matter is this is another team that like outperformed them on offense. Pretty much had every advantage going for them in that game. They still found a way to lose.
The injuries are getting to be concerning, that's for sure.
That's really what it comes down to for me. The injuries. I think Brock Purdy's now hurt. Christian McCaffrey's out in fucking Germany trying to get Achilles tendonitis looked at, which is not a good sign.
No, that is not a good sign.
Well, I'm trying to think. Deebo Samuel was out. George Kittle is out. Yeah, like this is a problem where like the Niners did everything right. They still lost. And there's other teams, we brought that up too, where it was like they did everything right, but they still couldn't do it right. It's like a Caleb Williams situation. You can do everything right on offense and get the points and all, but like if you make boneheaded plays or if you just don't do everything right by the book in the game, if you don't game manage it right at the end, you're gonna lose, and that's what happened here. So I'm not gonna throw this game away. This was a perfect Sean McVay, like good Sean McVay comeback. That's not something to throw away.
It was just weird when you saw the Rams hanging around. You had a feeling they might get it done. Yeah,
and not only did we get that feeling, I had that feeling enough to where I live bet it.
Yeah, smart line bet. Good line bet.
2.5 to 1. I live bet it when it was 21-14. I was like, I just have this weird feeling that they're sticking around. This is going to get close.
Yeah.
I had a Niners bet to hedge, and I was like, I'm going to hedge now at 2.5 to 1, but it was, I didn't expect it to hit. It was only a half unit hedge. I really didn't expect it to come through. And then literally the next day I texted you and I was like, I don't even remember fucking betting this, but it fucking hit. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, not a fluky game to me. That was coaching down to the wire for me. Oh yeah, and by the way, Carolina, that was my fade of the week. That was the only one I got wrong. All right. Detroit 20, Arizona 13. Arizona, Mansman, do you think Arizona fell back to earth in this game, or is this like to me, this is the fluky game where I throw this away, but I throw it away in terms for Arizona. Detroit had one good half of football. After that, they did absolutely nothing. Then again, so did Arizona.
I think it's weird because you're just waiting for the Lions offense to like get going, and they're not. They look to me like a dangerous team that hasn't hit its stride yet. Like there are a couple teams that it feels like they're playing their best football. I think Detroit's one of those teams where they're finding ways to win, but not really playing that great. Arizona, to me, I mean, they're just, they beat a decrepit Rams team with a ton of injuries, a ton of new offensive linemen, and they got a lot of credit for that, but they lost to Buffalo. That was a phony final because they got a kick return for a touchdown that made it look closer. And, I mean, in this game, I guess the weird thing with this game is Arizona almost had a pick six, but it was called back, and then the Lions proceeded to score a touchdown. So I guess that part of it was a little phony, but I don't know. It felt like a comfortable Detroit win. Detroit won the game, felt like that was the right side pretty much all game. And, Arizona's not in that echelon. They're going to beat some bad teams. They're going to be okay, but they're not good. People talking about Arizona playoffs, fade of the week, that cashed. So,
yeah, I was never on the side of Arizona playoffs. It's just like, were they going to still be that snarky team? Were they going to be the one that like had some dog in them every week that like they could put up some numbers and cover some big spreads? Or was this going to be a team that reverts back to, Kyler being Kyler and then they just tank the season? I'm seeing more of that scrappy fight in this Cardinals team. They're hanging around. I mean, they put up a good number of points on the Bills in that first half of the week 1 game. And then week 2, yeah, they did explode against the Rams team when I think we're talking last year, albeit it was with a different quarterback because of the Kyler injury. I mean, I think we were talking about Joshua Dobbs at one point being the starter in Arizona, and then people remembered who he was. I think with Kyler Murray, you sort of get that leg up in terms of quality quarterback play, where it's just enough where you can hang around with the bigger teams. And I think that's what makes the difference here. So Arizona's a team I'm going to keep an eye on. Detroit, I think, like I said, good coaching gets good wins.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, the Fox game of the week: Baltimore 28, Dallas 25. Baltimore wins and covers as a non-conference road favorite this week. The only one to cover as a non-conference road favorite besides Kansas City. Yeah, this was a phony final.
Oh yeah, phony final indeed.
This is a phony final game. I honestly am very concerned about Baltimore. But although I will say,
28-6 going in the fourth quarter, and Dallas reeled off 19 points in garbage time.
Yeah, with 2 failed 2-point conversions. So I mean, they were two of those away from losing this game outright. That's what scares me.
Baltimore always seems to they're never safe from blowing a lead. I mean, they give up a lot of late leads. It's crazy.
And Baltimore, now they have a Sunday night football game hosting the Buffalo Bills. Primetime once again for the Bills.
Yeah. And we will be in Baltimore this weekend for Bills Ravens. Let's get it. I think I'm going
Yes,
to make
sir.
a short video to announce that as well after this. But yeah,
Oh,
we're gonna be in Baltimore. I'm hyped as hell.
It's going to be a good one, I have a feeling. It's going to be a real good game.
Yeah, make sure you bring the binoculars so we could see it. But you know,
No, I've been to Raven Stadium. We'll be fine.
yeah, I think we'll manage.
Yeah, listen to this stat play though. Like this is what really concerns me. 12 for 15, 182 yards passing, 1 touchdown for Lamar. Dak Prescott, 28 for 51, 379 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I mean, that's a Dak game. The garbage. Oh, maybe you should be the MVP now.
Well, how about Derrick Henry? King Henry, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 tutties.
Yeah, he scares me for Sunday's game against the Bills. Derrick Henry, he's made us look bad a couple. I swear to God, we're gonna have to watch him with the fucking stiff arms. That's gonna piss me off. But yeah, no, King Henry, Buck Fitty, he came back with a vengeance, and boy, Dallas's rush defense is garbage.
That was one of my better calls. I said, we were talking with Vitrell, and he was like, I don't know about Derrick Henry. I'm like, no, this is the week. Play him against Dallas. Their rush defense is not that good. You need to start him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I was right on that aspect. Yeah, the Ravens, it just seems like they're just like Detroit in the sense where like they are winning. Not winning. They're actually losing. They're playing ugly. It's not looking good. They're giving up the late leads. It seems like Baltimore is good for like starting the game, but they can't. They're just for some reason struggling to close it out. I mean, like, yeah. And honestly, like it's a phony final because Dallas was 2-2-point conversions away from winning this.
I just don't think Baltimore, and this could come back to haunt me. I don't think Baltimore is that good. Like Buffalo should not be. I don't want to get into the handicap early, but Buffalo should not be an underdog in this game. Like Baltimore is not Baltimore. The offensive line is not great.
You know what? This is the third time we've said it. I gotta hit it. I gotta hit the Buffalo game now. I have a weird feeling that there could be some line movement closer to the game. Sunday night, Baltimore prime time. I'm just
bet it early in Austin.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet both lines. I'm gonna bet the money line, and I'm gonna bet because I have a feeling this could flip to Buffalo being a favorite.
I'm trying to see where the betting public is on. I don't know if we have those stats yet.
I don't think they're out, at least on FanDuel, but they could be out on other platforms.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look. And what's the next game we got?
Yeah, we'll get into that. I think we only have one more 4:00 game. No, we're actually through them. So we're back into prime time. Speaking of Sunday Night Football, Kansas City 22, Atlanta 19. That doesn't sound right. What the hell was the score? Why does that not sound like 22-17? Excuse me, folks. Atlanta sort of got caught on a bullshit non-PI call. Didn't get the win. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, they're looking a lot like last year with this fucking offense. And I should have known fucking better. Like, I should have remembered that Matt Nagy is still their offensive coordinator. He's no fucking good. This Chiefs offense is, like, struggling when they double cover Travis Kelce. And Carson Steele, that was sort of a disappointing angle. I know me and you were high on him this week. We thought he would pop off real well, but he only had 72 yards rushing on 17 carries. Serviceable, but wasn't the big touchdown explosion we were expecting. Rashee Rice, 12 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a big game. The return of Juju Smith-Schuster, he got a tutty in the game. Kirko, 20 for 29, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. This Falcons team, man, like, I cannot seem to wrap my head around them, but this just is like, my overall take on this game was that I think the sharper angle would have been to fade Kansas City, and I think it would have looked like it made a lot more sense. But at that number, it just never made sense, and you couldn't do it. So I think that once we get to these games where Kansas City's going to be big favorites, I'm going to be looking to fade the shit out of them.
Yeah, Kansas City is one of those teams that just always seems to find a way to win. And
yeah, it's called the stripes, the refs, because they fail to throw flags on the Chiefs. And whenever the Chiefs do get beat correctly, they have flags thrown on the other team so they can get
I just hate Kansas City because it seems like they just get every effing break. Every break always seems to go their way.
This year especially. Now, look, the Isaiah Likely call, that's a no. That was clear as day. His foot was out.
Even it's just like prototypical Chiefs, though. Like, if it was the Chiefs receiver, his toe wouldn't have been on the line. Like, it just seems like it's always the guy has the toe on the line. The ref doesn't throw the flag. The ref throws the flag.
Yeah, the ref throws the flag week 2. Week 3, the ref doesn't throw the flag.
There's the blown coverage. The guy shanks the field goal. Harrison Butker hits like a 60-yarder. It just seems like with them, there's always some craziness that happens where they find a way to win. It's starting to really, speaking of Chris's comment before, it's really starting to feel like Tom Brady, where it's just like there's always some reason why they find a way to win. It's crazy.
Yeah, the previous comment from Christ 335, Christ 35. Yeah, I mean, you can't be excited about a play because they're looking for a flag. I mean, this is especially in the Kansas City game. You cannot live betting this game is impossible because even when you're right, the refs will find a way for you to be wrong.
Yeah.
If you go against Kansas City, if you go for Kansas City, you might get it, but this is just not. Yeah, I'm not going to say Kansas City's unbettable. I'm just saying this team is looking more and more like a team we're about to fade in the upcoming weeks because they're either going to get a high number like they are next week against the LA Chargers, or they're going to go up against a better team and they're still going to be favored, but you're going to kind of start wondering why when.
Yeah, that's a hard game to bet the Kansas City though because we don't know about Herbert. He may not play, and if he doesn't play, this line is going to be at like 10.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, do you trust a Chiefs team to cover any team by 10? Because right now, I don't think I do.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to play it. I'm there with you.
That's my problem. I mean, this is, again, a Chiefs team that, like, on paper, on fantasy aspects, I mean, but literally besides Travis Kelce and Mahomes, I mean, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, like, all their other guys are, like, looking decent. They're looking like they're producing. The Chiefs are winning games, but you just watch how they play, and it is just like you're watching some of Mahomes' worst football ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think if you had that type of play on any other team, they're an 0-3 team. But it's Andy Reid, it's the Chiefs. They have the stripes on their back, and they're 3-0. So I mean, that's my takeaway. And then for the Falcons, I mean, just like another, kind of like what I predicted. I guess the Eagles game was sort of like a fluky win, and for them to like expect to cover 3 was going to be like a miracle in and of itself. Primetime Kirko really didn't have a bad game though, which was kind of surprising. I was expecting more mistakes, but he looked all right. I mean,
Primetime Kirko's been good against the AFC. I actually bet an over on Primetime Kirko and got a hit. So
there you go. Was it over passing yards or?
Yeah, over passing yards.
There you go.
Primetime Kirko.
Primetime Kirko. All right, yeah, so he is now 1-1 on the year. Falcons next week host the New Orleans Saints. Your thoughts?
Oh, boy.
Line.
I don't know. I got to handicap that one. I don't know. Can I bet on either team? I mean, I could, but.
You could bet on a tie, plus 50,000.
All
right.
Oh, we're to a fun game.
Yeah, we're to a fun game. It was your Buffalo Bills.
Oh, the Bills just scored another touchdown, by the way.
They laid the pipe on Jacksonville and Cinderella. 10 points for the Jags, 47 to the Bills. 5 touchdowns, was it, that Josh Allen threw for, or was it 4? Oh, look, he threw another one.
4, because James Cook ran one in. It reminded me of that Patriots game when the Bills literally scored 7 touchdowns to start the game. They had the graphic up. They scored 5 straight to start the game. 5 straight touchdowns. It was ass fucking.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns for Josh Allen, 1 for Ray Davis, 1 for James Cook on the ground. I mean, God, you had concerns about the Jags. I know you even in the contest picked them to cover the spread. And if I'm not mistaken, you picked them on the money line too?
I had a bad feeling that the Bills, like Monday Night Football, they haven't been great. Jacksonville is underdogs. They haven't been great. I thought Jacksonville might just have their number, and it might be a weird sort of letdown spot for them. They're playing Baltimore Sunday night on the road, like a legitimate Super Bowl contending team. So I thought they might have a letdown, but
no.
Instead they handled their business early, and they got to rest for the second half of the game.
Yeah, I mean, this was a Buffalo beatdown, if I had ever seen one. And this is the Buffalo beatdown that, like, before a Bills primetime game, you're scared.
This is the type of game that gets people fired. Like, Dougie P is on the hot seat. The owner supposedly was really pissed off.
Who was?
The owner of the Jags, Shad Khan. He was supposedly really pissed off.
What? Let him be pissed. I mean, no offense. No offense. I think Trevor Lawrence is looking like a bust. Not that Mac Jones is much better either. I think both of them weren't really that good. They were let's be honest, they weren't really the best quarterback class we've ever seen by any stretch, but like they were so overhyped when they got drafted that I think that's kind of the problem here.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence was a great Clemson quarterback, but he was in a Clemson system. Take him out of that system, and it was like, you gave him to who? Oh Christ, what the hell was it? Urban Meyer. Set him up for failure then. Now you got Dougie P in. They had one 9-8 season. And it was like Trevor Lawrence is the next coming of Jesus Christ. Like, no offense, I don't even think Trevor Lawrence would have put himself in that category at that time. And he just got so overblown and overhyped. And Jacksonville still is a weird team that I can't get my head around gambling. Like, I'm off the train with Jacksonville at this point. I have been for the past week, but
off the Jags train.
I'm off the Jags train, but I just know that the minute I hop off, they're gonna hit the rails, and then they're gonna hit the brakes, and they're gonna come rolling back and be like, "Yeah, come on, get back on the train. Like, we know you want to."
Well, they're running out of time to do that, buddy. They're 0-3, and it's not looking any better for them.
Yeah, that's they're 0-3. I'm just. This Jags team is looking like a wash for the year. I think next year it could be a whole new it could be a whole new coach, whole new team all around.
And that's for the Bills. I mean, if they continue to, I mean, the scary thing about the Bills is like Josh went Superman and they didn't run the ball. The week before they ran the ball and Josh did nothing. It's like each week, and essentially Ravens 32nd ranked pass defense in the league. Like, you're wondering if it's going to be another just Josh throws the ball game.
Well, here's my problem with the game, and speaking of the line, like, we'll get real quick into it. Remember what I said. The Ravens were two 2-point completions away from losing to the Dallas Cowboys. If they lose, what's this number?
Yeah.
Realistically.
Well, they looked at home to the Raiders, who just got waxed by Carolina. Waxed. That doesn't look that good.
And the Bills are dogs?
That's dangerous. I don't know.
I mean, it's like it looks like one of those trap lines where it's just like they're begging you to do it, and you're wondering why you're hesitating, because you know you want to hit it, but you know, do you want to be Barney at the bar? Oh my God, the Bills are underdog. You know what I mean? Like, is that the trap, or is there something? There's going to be more handicapping into it, but. Yeah, if you're watching this right now, I'm going to make it known. Grab the 2.5 for the Bills now. I have a feeling come closer to game time, come closer to Purple Friday down here in Maryland, where me and Mansman are both from. All these Baltimore bettors are going to get their paychecks, and they're going to start hammering Ravens money line. They're going to start hammering Ravens minus 2.5. This line could go up.
Oh, I hope so.
But why am I telling you
to go Bills money line?
Why am I telling you to hit it when it's 2.5? Well, if the line's going to go up, wouldn't you want to hit Bills 3.5? This is what we call ladder betting. Ladder betting is when you're going to get as many of the numbers as you possibly can because you just know that this is a wrong team favored. So if that number goes up to 3.5, you're just going to keep hitting it, and we're going to pray that it hits because then it could be a huge payday. Or if for some reason the Bills do lose, but it's a 3-point game, you lose the 2.5, but you hit the 3.5.
Yeah.
So it's a nice, cute way of hedging, but
yeah, I mean the Bills could come out flat, but it's kind of hard because they've won 4 straight road games and defense travels. And they've been historically very good against Lamar Jackson. Very good against Lamar. So we'll see.
We will see.
All right, we're getting distracted. This game hurts.
Yeah, we really need to talk about this one. Yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals 33, the Washington Commies, aka the football team, aka the Redskins, aka the Commanders, 37, I believe is the total.
38.
Or was it 38? Okay, I was right. Sorry, 38-33. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on with the Cincinnati team? There's only 2 winless teams left in the NFL. They are one of them. The other one is also a team who lost on Monday Night Football, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bro, Jaden Daniels, listen to these stats. 21 of 23, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 93 ESPN QBR, traditional quarterback rating, 141.7.
Mother.
Holy shit.
And what was this? I gotta look up his name. Starting guard for the Cincinnati Bengals out for the year. Oh,
and Cincinnati's favorite again next week. Do you dare to bet on them laying more wood? How many losses do you want to take with them? I don't know if I could do it anymore. They're terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't do it if it were me. I mean, how many is it now that the fucking Bengals have failed to cover as favorites? How many have they now lost in a row with Joe Burrow?
Yeah, there's something not right with this team. Their defense is putrid. Their defense is really 26th in scoring. Can't stop the run. They were doing well against the pass, except they got scorched last week. I don't know where you go with this team. I just don't know where you go with them.
Yeah, offensive tackle Trent Brown now out for the year for the Bengals.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
Where do you go with this team? Well, let's start with Washington and go from there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cincinnati's CB went on a news reporter and basically was like, yeah, they have a nice little cute college system built for Jaden Daniels. It's cute.
Can this team... Okay, 5 seconds.
And then got torched.
Minute rant. Oh, we're the team to beat in the AFC against the Chiefs. Oh, they have a nice... How about you win a game? Win a game first. Why are you talking shit? Team to beat. You're 0-3. You haven't won anything. Team to beat.
Oh, yeah. We are the team to beat. We're the team to get through to get to the Chiefs. No offense. You struggle against
in the parking lot? Like the security team to get into the stadium? You're not the NFL team. You win a game. You can't win a game. What are we doing? Win a game first. Team to beat. In Madden? Jesus Christ.
Listen to this, though. This was what was crazy to me. And I had to, triple check this. Because, I couldn't believe it after having watched that game last night. Or the other night. Total yards of offense. 436 for the Bengals. 356 for Washington. Yards per play. 7.3 for the Bengals. 6.2 for the Commanders. 30 first downs. 6 for 10 third down. 22 first downs for Washington. 5 for 9 on third down. 3 less plays than Cincinnati had. Cincinnati did all that with 8 minutes. With 8 minutes less time of possession. No fumbles lost. No interceptions thrown. Each team got sacked twice. Cincinnati did so much more on paper, but this was a game when you actually watch it from jump. They just could not lick the fucking tread off Jaden Daniels' shoes.
It was bad. Like I was watching it. Obviously the Bills were the main TV, but I was watching them on my phone, and I was looking, and I see Jaden Daniels throwing bombs. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. this ain't good.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of this for the Bengals, I believe, was in garbage time. I mean, it was 38-26 with 2 minutes to go. They still drove down with Zach Moss and scored a close touchdown. Had a chance to actually come back, which was shocking enough. I gotta say this: Washington, they've won 2 in a row. They beat the Giants. They've now beaten the Bengals. Next week, they are going up. I had this written down. Washington next week
To Arizona.
They're traveling to Arizona, who I think we just mentioned. They're kind of a fluky, scrappy team. I mean, this is the kind of game I think we're really going to see what Washington's made of. We're going to see if they're a real deal team. Same with Arizona. Are they real?
The line is 3.5 in favor of the Cardinals right now. I might bet on Midget Boy this week.
I could see it, dude. I really could. I mean,
this is like the ultimate fade spot. They're talking about Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year. He's so great. Yeah. Oh boy. We'll see.
Could be. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on either team, but I'm going to say Washington's a scary-looking team where I'm kind of reconsidering my thoughts on them. Considering Dallas is 1-2, that's a great. Philly and Washington are 2-1, I believe. Philly and Washington are 2-1. Dallas and the Giants 1-2.
Yep. And speaking of Dallas and the Giants, what a perfect segue.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Mansman. That is right. We have to give out our Thursday Night Football picks. The Dallas Cowboys are a -250 division road favorite going to MetLife Stadium at the New York Giants, who are 2-1 underdog, 5.5 points in favor of Dallas. Right now on FanDuel, it is 5.5. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to warn you now. This is the game you need to shop around for. Go to all the different books. Prime example. FanDuel right now is 5.5. DraftKings, it was 6. I want to say it was 6.
Still 6.
Still 6. I got this game at 4.5 when it opened on FanDuel. I have seen it as low as 4. I want to say it was Caesars, but I could be wrong. But this number is all over the place. So get the lowest number wherever you can get it. Or if you're going to get a 5.5, 6, get it with the best odds you possibly can. Because a 6-point spread at DK might be like what, -105, but 1.5 could be -115 at one book, -110 at another. So just really shop around, folks, on this game if you're gonna play the Dallas line, or the Giants. Even like if you're gonna play the spread, this is the one you shop around for. Last week was week 3, and we had the Jets and the Patriots. You gave that out as your dog of the week. It's my go to introduce the Thursday Night Football game. So my thoughts are as follows.
No, actually, it's mine. Remember, week 2 was the Bills-Dolphins, and I went first. So you went first.
Thank you for correcting me.
I think it's my go, actually.
Go for it, buddy.
So I'm not going to make this one of my best plays or anything, but I'm looking Cowboys -5.5 here. This, to me, is the ultimate fade spot. Giants coming off a win. Dallas coming off a loss. Actually, 2 losses at home where they got embarrassed. We know Dak Prescott, very good against the NFC. I think the record now might be 13-1 in the last 14 against the Giants. The Cowboys always seem to bully the Giants. They've won at least their last 5. Dak Prescott's great against the Giants. And remember, it's primetime Danny Dimes. Primetime Danny Dimes, we've seen him in this spot before. He's terrible. Now, don't get me wrong. Not thrilled betting on Dallas's defense. They've been really bad against the run. But then again, like Dev Singletary and the Giants, running is not their strong suit. So I think the Giants are going to have to pass. I think Danny Dimes is not going to do that well. And on the other side, Noah Dory Jackson, he hasn't practiced. He may not play. Dexter Lawrence popped up on the injury report with a foot injury. I just think that this Giants team beat a bad Browns team. They lost to a Commanders team that I don't really think is that good. They got embarrassed by the Vikings week 1. I'm not really sold on this Giants team. I think the Sharps, I heard a couple Sharps talking about that the Giants may be better than we thought. After one game, after Daniel Jones looked serviceable for one game, I'm not ready to proclaim the Giants back. I think Dak has a good game. I think Dallas needs this game. I think they win it pretty comfortably.
Okay. I too am not making this my best bet, even though history says I should. Here's the problem with me in Thursday Night Football. It seems to be that when I hit Thursdays, I don't tend to do well Sundays, and when I don't hit Thursdays, I tend to do very well on bounce back Sundays. So I'm scared to make this a best bet because I have a feeling if it goes south, then my other best bet for Sunday is going to come through, and I'm going to have to do 2 best bets, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole either. So not going to do any of that, but this to me is it's not I don't think it's a pros Joe's game. This is more of like old school versus new school gambling type of game where I think you when I say old school gambling guys, I think these are the guys who will play the number. While the new school guys like me and you, we look more at recency bias and trends and try to incorporate that with the numbers. New school guys, you think you have to love the Cowboys here. 13-1, like you mentioned, since 2017. They're 11-3 ATS in that time span as well.
Yeah.
6-1 straight up in ATS in MetLife since 2017. They're 5-1 ATS in games where they're less than 5-point favorites or less. So now we're at that 5.5 mark, which is why I'm thankful I got it at 4.5 when it opened, because I had a feeling this number was going to jump and I'm going to be a lot comfortable. I don't know how high this game could go for me to bet the Giants, and that's my problem here. Danny Dimeball in primetime, 1-12 straight up in his career. Daniel Jones at home versus divisional opponents, 0-3-1 straight up since 2022. G-Men without Daniel Jones have actually covered 2 straight as primetime dogs. That was Tyrod Taylor and Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, we need Tommy Cutlets.
And don't get me wrong, the flow charts have been killing me this year. It seems to be like an inverse situation with the flow charts.
No, it seems like the flow charts are hit or miss. It's like half of them are doing well, and then half of them are just getting squished.
Yeah. Division road teams this year, through 3 weeks of football, 1-7 ATS all year, 2-6 straight up. If you look
division road teams ATS?
Yeah.
What's the one division road team?
That would be your Buffalo Bills.
That's right.
On Thursday Night Football, no less. But you have to remember, they did that as an underdog. This is a road favorite.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, division road favorites, I have the number here. Division road favorites have actually gone 0-2 ATS, but they've gone 1-1 straight up. Both of them have hit the over, though, so in terms of the team total at 45.5, I loved it more at 43.5. At 45.5, I will still play the over. 46.5 or higher, I think you start leaning towards the under here.
My concern is if I want to play overs, I want to play Dallas over. I just have a bad feeling. To me, +6 looks very trappy. Well, I feel like there's a lot of sharps who are going to be betting the Giants +6, and the Giants are going to lose by 20. Like, I really think Dallas.
Yeah.
And again, I've been wrong on this, the desperation spot. This just seems like a really good spot play for Dallas, and especially CeeDee Lamb. The last time he had an issue on the field with his teammates, he came back, had 11 catches the next week. I wouldn't be surprised if CeeDee Lamb has a big game.
No, I love that you mentioned the spot play, too. This is a spot where let's look at these two teams. The Giants are coming off of a big non-conference road win against the Cleveland team. And the Giants are 50% at 9-1 since 2021, coming off of a win. Dallas is coming off that home loss to the Ravens, where, like I said, it was a spot where they honestly could have came back and won outright. They are not just one of the better teams to back up ATS after a loss. They are the number one team to back up after a loss. 12-4 ATS since 2021. I just don't see a world where there's a way we're going to back Daniel Jones here. I can't back the Giants yet. Albeit, I know earlier in the episode I mentioned they're going to start making me wonder when I could play them down the line. This is like kind of like last week. We're going to look for spots later in the year. This just isn't it. So I'm 100% with you. Dallas all the way, -5.5. I love the over 45.5. Like I said, 47 I think is my line where I think I lean under. But I think you're right on the spreads though. I have a feeling if this hits 6.5, you're gonna get guys like me who got it at 4.5 and 4, and our sharp's gonna get cute and try to middle it. So I wonder if the books are also kind of keeping the number where it's at, knowing what's ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, and I'll leave it with this. There's no world in which I want any piece of the Giants because I feel like the Giants could get blown out in this game. So yeah. I don't want them really even at like a tease price. Like I think the Giants could get blown away in this game. They've been one of the worst teams at home the past 3 years. They have a terrible home record. I want no part of the Giants in this game.
Yeah, this to me is you brought up CeeDee Lamb overs. I would go over receptions, prop CeeDee Lamb. I'm sure I could pull the numbers real quick. I think we have like a few minutes left where we could throw out maybe a couple player props just for shits and giggles. Maybe even build a corporation same game parlay. But let's see here. But the one I was going to bring up, Neighbors under receiving yards. Because I have a feeling Dallas is just going to double team him all game. They're going to make Danny Dimeball prove it other ways, and he's just going to crumble.
It's always dangerous. It's always dangerous. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Danny might not be able to get him the ball. I mean, I know he's a great receiver, but...
Yeah, 72.5 receiving yards. That's an underplay for me.
The Giants are going to try and run the ball because this rush defense is so bad. Although, I don't know. To me, like, I don't think Singletary's that good. What?
CeeDee Lamb, 6.5 receptions, -102.
I think that's an over.
Yeah, we'll play that. That's a lock for me. That's my player lock here, folks, on FanDuel. Over 6.5 receptions for CeeDee Lamb. Malik Neighbors, under 72.5 receiving yards for me. Or do we get cute and go to the Daniel Jones, under 199.5 passing yards?
God, could do that too. My only concern is garbage time. If Dallas gets up to a big lead, although I don't know,
you might get benched.
I was looking at it and tempted. I also Dak Prescott over passing yards, 257 seems pretty low.
Yeah,
it's all about game script. It's a matter of if they have to throw enough. Although I don't know. To me, I could just see Dallas just throwing and running up the score.
Yeah. What do you think of this? Dallas -3.5 first half.
I think Dallas is good first half. Let me check. I think there was a stat that they're good in the first half. Hold on. Thought I saw something here. Let me see.
Yeah, we'll check. Let me see if I can check it out on EV Analytics.
6 straight wins against the NFC East first half for the Cowboys. They've also covered 5 straight as favorites against the NFC East.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
So that's, yeah. I think, I might do a first half play. The Giants normally have been terrible in the first half. I remember in that 40-0 game, they got blitzed in the first half. So yeah, I definitely think that could be a good play.
Yeah, I'm doing 1.5 units on the first half play. Should have hit it sooner. And then I'm going to throw a half. Do I throw a half or do I throw a full? You know what? I'm going to throw a full unit. We're going to go CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 catches, full unit play.
Okay.
That seems like easy money to me.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a lot of targets. And this Giants defense to me is not. I mean, I don't know. They're not excellent. They're okay. And if Dexter Lawrence is a little banged up, It's not going to be a good sign for them. I mean, the Giants' defense is ranked 13th against the pass, but they played Jaden Daniels, they played Deshaun Watson,
and then they played
Sam Darnold.
yeah.
So they haven't faced as good a. Meanwhile, Dallas is number one. I just think some of those stats are phony. They're tied for 18th in scoring, so the defense isn't great.
Yeah, no, this is Dallas all the way. Like there's just not an angle I want the Giants here. But yeah, Malik Neighbors under rushing yards. That's gonna be my. You know what? CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions. That's the play. That's my player lock of the week. Yeah. Do you have a player lock you want to throw out before we call it a night?
Boy, I think probably.
Or Dak over.
I think Dak over would be my player lock. 257 seems really low. Or no, you know what I would do? I have it on DK. Dak Prescott, 2 passing touchdowns, minus 145. I think that's a lock. I think he's good for 2.
Let me see.
A little juicy, a little chalky, but.
Ooh. Oh, no, we're clear. I was looking at the weather report. We were going to get early rain in East Rutherford, but it's going to stop in time, so.
Yeah. Two passing touchdowns, minus 145. I think he's definitely. I expect Dallas to score a lot. I think this is. I'm not going to say an over game because I think the Giants may get stuffed, but I think Dallas is going to score. I expect Dallas's offense to have an explosion to build off of the end of the game last week. So.
Gotcha. You know what? We have a no sweat same game. Let's throw this out here. Let's see what we can get. So do you love the 2 touchdowns more, or do you like the yards?
I kind of like the 2 touchdowns more. That builds us in case it's garbage time.
Okay. And then we're going to go with CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions. Oh, I need another leg. How do you feel about Ooh, I don't like that number.
Did you
Daniel
put Dallas first half?
Let's do that. Let me get.
I don't know what else you put besides those 2.
Giants team total.
Probably not going to get good odds.
Let's see. First quarter, first half. Dallas minus 3.5. First half. That's minus 386. Where are the team totals? Sorry, folks, we're still buffering. And Jesus Christ, they got all the lines up now. Giants total points 19.5. Or how about first half Giants total 9.5?
Ooh. I wish we got the 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the second half for the Giants. They're also at 10.
Still correlated, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Damn. I guess we could try a touchdown. If we really want to get cute, we could try a touchdown score. I don't know how you did on those last. We could throw CeeDee Lamb anytime. I mean.
Yeah, I didn't do well with that last week, unfortunately.
Oh, that's not good. All right, if we throw.
I just don't know what to make of. I wish we got like a Devin Singletary. What's the Devin Singletary rush? Ooh, Devin Singletary, 60.5. Oh, kinda. I wonder what the. Wonder if he's hit that in either of these 2 games, Devin Singletary.
He hit last week.
Did he really?
Actually, he hit it 2 weeks in a row. 95 yards against Washington, 65 against Cleveland.
Yeah, he has hit it 2/3 of the time. Damn.
And he scored touchdowns in those games as well.
They're too sharp for me because I was thinking they might have boosted that because they're bad against the run.
Still plus money.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wanted to hit the under on that.
Oh, under rushing yards?
Yeah, but no.
We'll leave it at... Yeah, we'll figure this out later. We're at the hour.
Yeah, we're at the hour 30 mark. We'll figure it out before game time tomorrow. All right, buddy. Good stuff.
Yes,
as
sir.
always, be sure to check out our podcast. Check out the DynaPros Fantasy 10 for 10 or whatever he's calling it these days.
DynaPros Fantasy Podcast. Our buddy Commissioner Vitrell Kirkland of our Dynasty Football League gives out his start sits player advice for fantasy football each week. Make sure you tune out for his week 4 episode if he drops it. I got nothing else. Money management. Oh yeah, X.com DeGents Podcast. Check out our contest plays coming out soon. We'll announce that on the Friday episode when we give out our week 4 picks. Make sure you check us out on Spotify and on YouTube. I have nothing else. I am Steve Big Bucks Beta.
Money management signing off, and as always, make that motherfucking money.
Have a good night, DJ.